A violent night across Rochester. 3 different shootings within just hours of one another. One of them involving an infant. We start with that shooting. Rochester police say officers responded to the 100 block of 6th Street after shot spotter activation around 1:30 this morning. While investigating, police say a 30-year-old male showed up to Strong Hospital by a private vehicle with a gunshot wound. Officers say the man was shot as he exited the vehicle on 6th Street, also shooting his vehicle that an adult female and infant were in. The 2 were not injured, and the victim is expected to survive. Also this morning, Rochester police responding to the 800 block of Hudson Avenue for a man shot. When police arrived, they say a 20-year-old male was shot at least once in the lower body and was transported by AMR to the hospital. At this hour, his condition and what led to the shooting remains unknown. And late last night, Rochester police responded to the 400 block of Lyell Avenue for another shot spotter activation. Officers say a group had been gathering in the area around 11:40 p.m. when multiple gunshots were fired. While investigating, police say a 20-year-old man arrived at Strong Hospital by private vehicle with at least 1 gunshot wound to the upper body. He is also expected to survive. No suspects in any of these shootings are in custody. Anyone with information is asked to call 911 or Crime Stoppers at 423-9300. You can remain anonymous and may be eligible for a cash reward.
And the rise in violent crime in Rochester this year is expected to be a major issue in the November elections. And as Dalton Williams reports, Democrats and Republicans are divided on the hot-button issue of bail and parole reform. Dalton?
The North Clinton Avenue neighborhood where that 3-year-old boy was shot is part of State Senator Jeremy Cooney's district. Today I spoke with him and his challenger, former Gates Police Chief Jim Van Bretterode, about this case and bail reform concerns in Rochester. Election day is just over a month away, and today candidates for the 56th district were out campaigning in the community. An issue many are discussing this year is bail reform.
I would say that bail reform in its purest way is working, right? We are not criminalizing poverty. People are not being held because of how much money they have or they don't have in their wallets. That's wrong. I think most of us can agree on that.
State Senator Jeremy Cooney says he believes the current policies are effective, but lawmakers should always be thinking about ways to improve the law in the interest of public safety.
Changes like allowing local judges in their discretion to be able to hold individuals who had been repeat offenders or had been charged with a gun-related crime. Why? Because that's common sense. It's going to allow our community to be safer if we empower our local judges to make those types of determinations.
Cooney's opponent is the former Gates Police Chief Jim Van Bretterode. He says bail reform was sold to the public under false pretenses. He says he and other law enforcement officials expressed their concerns before bail reform was passed.
When you have that one-party supermajority rule, you don't need to listen to the conversations and you just do what you think you want to do. Your personal agenda kind of comes first, and now we're sitting here paying for those oversights that were made.
Van Bretterode also says there should be more than one voice impacting change in Albany.
With that voice not at the table, a lot of these laws get passed, and a lot of them are pretty radical, as these reforms were. And so we're seeing an uptick in the violence, repeat offenders continuing to offend. We can fix this. We have a great city. The problem is this public safety problem overshadows all the good things that are happening here in Rochester.
One thing both of them agree on is public safety should be an elected official's #1 priority. Early voting starts October 29th, and Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th.